Hey ladies, okay, so I'm going to do little mini segments of the awesome portions of conference, the Acclaim 2017, our SeneGence Seminar, and I'm going to tell y'all some of my favorite highlights in just short little snippets. It'll help if I actually look at the camera, huh? So let me steer there. Let me start with our first day and our keynote speaker. We listened to a wonderful lady. Her name was Nikki Kihoho. I think that was how you pronounce it. Anyway, she is an awesome, phenomenal speaker, and she talked a lot about belief and believing in yourself. So the key things that I took away from her speech is this one overwhelming thought. And it had to do with mind management, and here's what she says. What you speak about, you bring about. Think about that for just a second. She gave some really cool stories, and I won't try and share her own experiences, but I just really liked the idea of what you speak about, you bring about. I know that our company has had some high demand issues lately, and I really like using that phrase instead of out of stock issues, because out of stock kind of has a negative connotation to it, even though really we know the situation is that it's a high demand issue. Our company cannot keep up with the demand from the women in the world, mostly just the United States, Canada, and Australia right now. So those are the three countries that we're in right now, with great plans to expand to other countries soon. I'll talk more about that in other videos. But think about what you speak about, you bring about. And we need to be focusing on the positives in our lives, because the more you focus on the positive, the more positivity you see around you. And if you can make projections or expectations for yourself, you can reach them. I just really like the idea of, let's see what else she talked about. Oh, the quality of questions that you ask yourself will reflect how successful you are in life. So like in the morning when you are having your few minutes of peace, if you get those in the morning before you jump right into your day, you can ask yourself, what amazing things am I going to accomplish today? Instead of starting the day feeling negative, like, oh my gosh, I have so many things to do today. Find yourself asking yourself positive questions that are worded in a way that allow you to accomplish great things. Or you can ask yourself, what will I learn today? Let's see, she had some great suggestions. What am I most excited for? And you don't wake up and just think, why am I so tired? Oh yeah, it's because my kids woke up 3 times. Start your days off right by asking yourself uplifting, positive questions, and speak positive things. Say your goals out loud. I can't tell you how many times lately I've been saying what my goals are out loud for SeneGence, and sometimes I feel so guilty saying them out loud because there's that sense of fear. We all have it, where it's like, oh, you almost hate to say something out loud because if you don't accomplish it, you're a failure. No, if you don't say it out loud, you're a failure. Like, you've got to commit yourself. And that wasn't something that was said at conference. That's kind of my own realization. You have to say things out loud so that you can commit to them and so that you can help bring them to pass. So what you speak about, you bring about. And let's talk about some things that have been accomplished in this company over the last year. They had to create a new title. They had to create a whole series of new titles because, as you know, we start with distributor, and then you move up to maiden, royal in waiting, royal, lady, countess, duchess, princess, crown princess, and then it just keeps going up and up and up. Well, we had our first ever majesty. And what is a majesty? Majesty means that she's met all the qualifications of the previous titles, but her team makes $25 million from seminar year to seminar year close. So April 1st to March 31st. What? $25 million? Like, I mean, that's so wonderful. Think about how many people are in her team that are also doing incredible, and how many lives are being blessed through this company's generous compensation plan. Sometimes I know we talk a lot about commission, and yes, it is a commission plan, a commission statement, but it's actually a compensation plan. And SeneGence is known for having one of the most, if not the most, generous compensation plan, because yes, you're getting percentages of commission, but the main bulk of your commission check is actually a bonus from SeneGence, bonusing you for spreading the good word of SeneGence. So as you think about the teams that you're on, just know that your hard work isn't necessarily benefiting somebody else. It's benefiting you, and it will benefit you in the long run, but the company is really who's doing the huge blessing of lives here, because they're giving bonuses to all of the distributors. So that's kind of how that works. You'll have to excuse my phone if you hear it going off right now. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. So her main point was, you speak about what you bring about. And when you hear that somebody is majesty, or somebody just hit a new rank, I know that sometimes that can be hard. And you hear that and you think, how am I ever going to make maiden? Like, how am I going to get 3 people to hit 300 PV? Help them. And it's not necessarily, you know, I hate that sometimes it feels like you're trying to push other people. You're not pushing other people. You're linking arms with them. You're saying, you can do this. We can do this together. Let's help build businesses. And a qualified order is 300 PV, as you know. Although I'm a huge believer that you need to be ordering more than 300 PV if you really want to grow your business. And you can talk to me about that if you need help how to place orders that are larger than that. But I was going somewhere with that. So as you see people hitting these ranks where they're going from distributor to maiden, even though that feels like, how is she doing that? How is it going to be possible to get 3? I'm telling you, I've experienced that myself. Somehow it happens, and you're planting seeds all along the way. And sometimes those are just, all those benefits are reaped all at once in the same month, or sometimes it's a couple months in a row. But as you continue to strengthen your team, you'll hit maiden, and maybe you'll even skip a couple ranks because suddenly you're having some girls on your first, second, and third line, so you can jump right past one rank. And there's a whole lot of conversations I could do there just on individual ranks. But when you hear that, do not get discouraged. And instead, this is what I liked from Nikki Kihoho's speech, is she talked about how when you see that somebody is successful, don't put them up on a pedestal and lower yourself. Because when you put somebody up on a pedestal, that means that even if you're only just trying to say, oh, they're doing so great, and you're putting them up here, just by default, that means that you're either staying low or lower than what you're viewing somebody up here. So instead of thinking that way, where somebody's way up here in the company, just look at them and think, how am I like them? How am I like them? And that is the difference between inclusive and exclusive sorting. Instead of excluding somebody and saying, oh, well, they've had this success because of this, or that, and man, if only I joined sooner, I could have been that successful. Instead of thinking that way, where you're excluding why you're not the same, think about inclusive. What qualities do you have that are like somebody else that you look up to, that you can say, man, that's where I'm going to be because I have these same qualities. And you can have totally different styles of leadership and totally different styles of sales. You can still be successful. So you can even find things that are inclusive of you and somebody else that you look up to, and play off of your strengths and your combination of strengths that are similar between the two, but say, man, and I also have these other strengths to bring to the table. I am going to rock this. What you speak about, you bring about. Let me see what else she had to say. I think another good point is, let's see. Let me pause this while I find other things I want to talk about from her talk. Just a sec.